Happy Thursday.
Thursday.
Today is Thursday Thoughts with Lesley and I. When I move my mouse on my side, I don't see your name anymore, Coach Lesley. I
I'm
don't
still
know.
here.
I don't know if it happens when we're, out on the open video as well, but it happens on my side. So I have to not move my mouse. Okay. This topic is what we created the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool for when people are making design pricing mistakes. And it's the number one thing we work on when anyone starts coaching with us in Profit Insiders or me one-on-one. It's the very first thing we talk about, because without having the proper pricing, you cannot necessarily grow your interior design business. How do you hire a bookkeeper? How do you hire an accountant? How do you hire an assistant or a virtual assistant or anybody if you don't have enough money in your business to grow or even just sustain? Okay, so this is a very important topic, and I am so proud of you and I for creating the product, the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool, because the reviews that are coming in are insanely good.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I just got my biggest design fee ever. Right? Or thank you for giving me the guts to actually present the proper pricing and understanding why, so a client can't manipulate me into charging less. Okay, so let's get into this, right? You have gotten your largest design fee ever also from using the key.
Yes, and then I got my largest design fee ever the next time I use the key. Like, I feel like it just keeps, and once you kind of up level yourself into that space where you're charging like that, more comes and it gets easier and easier. And then you can and it's baby steps. You're not going to go from charging a few $100s for a project to charging a 6-figure design fee. But every time, if you can just stand in that space, elevate yourself, expand what you are charging and what you are bringing into your firm, the difference is phenomenal. And the confidence that comes from knowing that you did not pull these numbers out of your butt. You're not making this up out of thin air, which that's what I really struggled with, was like, I guess I'll charge this because I think it's maybe going to be this. Whereas this is like, nope, my experience, industry averages show that this is what it takes to do these tasks, add it all up, and here is your design proposal.
Yes, whether you charge
Simple.
Hourly, whether you charge flat fee, whether you charge hybrid, it's all in the key explained. And these are common. We're going to talk about common mistakes that people make in their pricing and how we used those mistakes to develop this product, the key, because I love when someone mentions to me over Voxer, like, finally, I understand where my numbers are coming from. They're not messaging me on my business helpline or you on the business helpline saying, can you help me price this? I don't know how to price it.
Yes.
Right? Now we say, did you run it through the key? And then let's talk about it after that. And what ends up coming up is the very first mistake that people make, which is lowering their prices because they're scared.
Yeah, they're scared of losing the sale.
Right. And now you know that we have a profitability analyzer that's free in the Business Building Boutique, which you can get to from the website. Top left says interior designers. When they run their jobs through the profitability analyzer, I always ask everyone, run 5 past jobs. I can't tell you how many times the profitability on the larger jobs is lower than the profitability on the smaller jobs, because fear made them lower the price right before they presented their proposal.
Because it's too big of a number. It's just, they won't pay that.
Yeah. And I told you a story before we went live, and I'm going to tell it. When I was an art framing and accessory consultant, one of my employees, my art manager, did a proposal it was a commercial job for a bank, and it was a rush job. So we put a rush fee on it, which I highly recommend. Also, you don't just do things quicker because the client wants you to, you do it with an additional benefit to you, which is sometimes an upcharge. And my assistant, my manager for the art side, did the proposal and literally said, I cannot send this. There is no way he's going to pay this. So I went over her shoulder at her desk and I'm looking at it. I said, it's perfect. She's like, he's not going to pay this, Nancy. And I just said, send it. She's like, I'm telling you, I'm giving you my opinion. Like, it's not going to, and I just went over her shoulder. I was the boss and I just hit send. She was like, all right. I tell you, in 5 minutes, maybe 4, he paid it with credit card.
Shut up. That's amazing.
And I just looked at her and I said, our job is to present what it costs to do the job he wants us to do, not to lower the price in order to get the job.
Yeah.
And if he wants it, then he can have it. If he doesn't want it that badly, then he's going to say no. Or if he wants to negotiate with me, let him negotiate. But let me not negotiate with myself on his behalf and put myself in his wallet and tell him how much he should be charging.
Boom. That is so true. Your client's money story is none of your business. And that's
Yes.
so hard for us to remember because as designers, what we value about money and what we feel is expensive is not necessarily what our clients feel. And we need to just shut up and say what it is. And it's so hard because
It
being
is
a good
hard.
designer means typically you are empathetic, you do connect emotionally, you can read and understand people. And that's something that I've had to learn to just be like, not my circus, not my monkeys, not my problem to know what money you have. You're telling me you want XYZ done in your home. Here's our proposal
Yes,
and
this
leave
is
it at
what you
that.
need done. This is how much it costs. But the bottom line is some people are savvy negotiators and some people aren't. So if you are faced with a client who is a savvy negotiator, they're going to say things right in the beginning like, we really don't have that much money for this project, but we just want to see how much it's going to cost, right? They start to slip in sentences
Yeah.
that will make someone who's insecure about money themselves and maybe has a money story they need to work on, it'll make them start to doubt and want to please that person right from the beginning. They're insidiously putting in these sentences that
Yes.
when you get back to your office, you're like, well, they said they don't have a lot for this, and they said their child's going to college and they're saving for that. So maybe I should modify in order to get the job. Right? I mean, literally, this happens every single day. This is a common mistake.
Yes.
So fear makes you lower your price. We don't want you to do that. We want you to learn to work through the fear and understand that your pricing is coming from very long statistics that you and I gathered
Yeah.
in order to see what designers actually need in order to make a job profitable.
Well,
And
and I love that you said work through the fear. You're still going to feel the fear. Trust me. Like even when I send these proposals and I've got that the key is all figured out, I know it is what it is.
Mhm.
It's still going to be scary and it's okay. You have to just like pretend Nancy's there hitting send for you. It's going like please don't mishear us and think like, oh, you've got the key and it's easy and you send proposals. Like, no, this is mindset stuff all the time about money and your worth and your value. And when you have that paper confidence, when you've got the calculations done and you send it, take a breath, step away, and know that it is not a reflection of you. It is, this is what it takes to
Yeah.
give the result your client is asking for.
Yes.
It's up to them if they value that and want to pay it.
Absolutely. Okay, so that was mistake number one, lowering your price due to fear. We go back, if you're watching, just tuned in, go back to listen to all our tips about that. And we also put a video with the key, the
Yes.
pricing tool, which kind of works through a lot of that mindset stuff also. And we give very specific pricing tips in that video as well. Okay, mistake number two, underestimating your time investment. You can talk about this one.
I love the idea of flat fee. I'm not against it. I think it can be done well, but I have gotten burned so many times on the implementation side because I have just straight up underestimated. Because when you're doing a proposal, you're like, well, it's a site, maybe a site visit a week, and then like it would only be this. And we all know what happens. Like stuff happens during installation, and I'm pretty good at estimating my design time. I think with designers, even after a few jobs, you get a sense of what it takes. And Nancy, you're great at teaching and encouraging people how to tighten up that time too and get a lot more control over
Yes.
the design phase. For me, it's the implementation phase that always blows past what I think it's going to.
Yes.
And the key helps with that. We had a lot of designers looking at the key and saying, wait, so design time is the same as implementation? Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Implementation takes, by the time you are doing all the site visits and contractor checks and phone calls and damages and deficiencies and deliveries and styling, and it can be more. The project management side, and that if you underestimate that and you are not using the key and you are perhaps doing a flat fee, which I said we are not against, but for most designers, it is not the best way to be profitable because
Yes.
we do underestimate it. So I love that you say, you need to emphasize the importance of thoroughly considering every aspect of the project, including the oh crap moments where stuff's going to go wrong,
Mhm.
and let clients know up front what planet they're going to be landing on for that. I mean, I used to just be like, and we're X hourly and here we go. And like, I never prepared clients that the design time hours could be $10, $20, $30,000. And we get a couple $1,000s in. They're like, this is about all we were prepared to spend.
Yes.
Like, well, we still have 75 hours left, ma'am. Like, but you didn't tell me that. And that is what the key can help with, is giving you the confidence to say, and we are estimating implementation at 175 hours.
And this is why.
And this is why.
Right? Because with the key is for you guys, for your internal calculation of your design fee, your project management fee, your furniture estimation, all that can be done with the key.
Mhm.
But then your proposal is actually what the client sees, not your spreadsheet, not your key. When you're working it out in your head, and with us, if you're one of our clients, you're working out your pricing, and you're presenting it to them in a beautiful Canva template that we also provide, not with the excruciating detail that will drill the client into the ground. It's too much information for them. They're hiring you to be the expert and tell them at a level that they can understand how much this is going to cost. And if you get a really savvy client, you also have the detail to funnel back to if you want to.
Yep. Like,
right?
you think about buying a car and it's $50,000. They don't say, okay, so the front seat costs this much and the back seat costs this much and the gear shift cost. Like, you don't care. You're like, car, $50,000. Okay, let's go. Or no, I can't afford that car. Let's revisit this.
Right. Or if you were a savvy car guy or girl, you would ask more questions about the engine and the this, and you should have the knowledge.
Yes.
But don't dump it all on somebody who really doesn't want to know all of it. Okay. Okay. So keep the client in the moment and in the level of expertise that they have. Don't try to make them an expert like you are by giving too much information. You will kill the sale. Well,
Yes.
the art of the sale is a whole nother different thing that we teach, and we won't get into that, but underestimating your time investment is mistake number 2 that people make. And the key, the Designer's Ultimate Pricing Tool that you and I created, will solve that for you. It will tell you on average what it takes other designers over our 30 years of experience to do it. And we are getting feedback of how accurate it is with a cushion, so that when they have their oh shit moments and like something went astray in the project management side, they still have a little bit of cushion, that they're not always going right back to the client and asking for more money. It's giving them that, I made enough money on this job, the appropriate amount of money, that if something goes mildly wrong, it's going to be okay. I can handle it. If it goes majorly wrong, well, then that's a whole nother issue anyway.
Yeah. It allows you to step into that more luxury service level where you have the margin that you can go above and beyond. You can handle a few extras without being like, here's an invoice for $278. Or you can treat your clients to a day at the spa, or, stuff like that, that really elevates you as a service professional because you have estimated your time properly. And we hear lots of designers saying, I did the key and it landed here and then I rounded up. And I'm like, yes, like that's how you do it. Like,
I know.
and clients say,
gave them-
okay, where do I sign?
Yes, because the confidence comes across.
Yeah.
What people don't understand is, instead of going, I hope I price this right, I hope I price this right, I hope I price it, and I didn't, I ran it by a couple of people in the group, I posted a post and a couple of people said more or less, but in general, I think I'm in the ballpark. All those nerves in your head 100% comes across in your body language, your eye contact, in the way you hold your hands without you even knowing it. And as a body language trainer, I can tell if somebody's nervous way before they even know they're nervous themselves. And subconsciously, every human does this. Subconsciously, you can read a room and your brain is telling you certain things about people, right? So if you're going in with a lack of confidence in your pricing, when you present your pricing, it's going to be read subconsciously from that client as, if they're savvy, an opportunity to negotiate with you, or a feeling like, hey, they don't seem to really know what they're doing so much. It seems like a little shaky. They're just going to start out that relationship with you with them having the control, as opposed to it being equal, or you having control.
Yeah.
So, okay, got to go on to mistake number 3. Not communicating clearly from the beginning, from the start on your pricing. Now, I know you have a story about this.
I was terrified to talk about money, so I just didn't do it. And I had a project once where I worked with the wife. This was also, I've also since implemented, all decision makers are involved from minute 1 now, but that's another story. The wife and I met, we did trade day and the site measure and talked through the project. It was 4 or 5 rooms, and it was a pretty big scope. This is before I had my processes as nailed down as I do today. And we did so much work. I mean, every room designed down to the detail, everything priced, quoted, like formal proposals, mood boards, floor plans, everything presented. Husband shows up to the proposal meeting, looks at the numbers, and just says, absolutely not. And the project was canceled as of that day. Like,
Not even any conversation.
no, oh no, oh no. And there was more to it. He wasn't the greatest human being, as I learned. However, they didn't know what to expect. In my mind, I was like, this is going to be expensive, but I never said, I think we're going to be landing in the, $80,000 to $100,000 range for these rooms. I just said, okay, you want rooms, I'll give you rooms. And I did this fully baked design plan. We did 80 hours of work. This is before I had a concept design phase, which more learning lessons here about how to present better and how to get better results. But we got to that big presentation and it was like a kick in the face. It's like, okay.
Because you were afraid to talk money from the beginning.
I was. And so then I lost the whole job. Obviously didn't make any money on the sale. They were pissed about what they'd paid in design fees already because they weren't happy with what, I mean, it was just.
That was baby Lesley designer. Baby Lesley designer.
It was baby Lesley. And you know what? Lesley is here today as pretty big kid Lesley because she's made a lot of baby Lesley mistakes.
Yes.
So I'm like, we're talking about money early and often. Like when we're working with clients, we're in their underwear drawers. We know what side of the bed they sleep on. We know where they store their granola bars. Like it is such an intimate relationship. You cannot not talk about money. You are involved in their money.
Yes. But you know that I always say, I teach my clients to talk about money the way you talk about breakfast.
I love it.
With no emotion attached to it.
It's neutral.
It's neutral. It is an exchange of energy. I do this, and that's what transparency is too, right? I get that all the time. Well, isn't transparency telling them exactly what I'm doing every second of every day and why I'm charging them and exactly what my margin is on my furnishings? No. Transparency is, this is how much the steak costs that you want to eat. Do you want it? Right? This is how much the design job is going to cost that you have asked me for. Do you want it? Okay, that's your job, to relay the value and the cost, what the deliverables are for how much money. That's transparency. Period. End of story. And people get very nervous about talking about money from the beginning. But imagine if you could walk into someone's house and say, okay, have you done your research? Do you have an investment level in mind for your project? No? Okay, let me give you some information about, on average, what this may cost you, because you have used the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool, over and over and over for your firm specifically, and you have fine-tuned it to know how much things are costing you to do in your area of the world at the price point you like to work in.
Yes.
Right? It's still very personalized. It's not, you have to work with it. And it's almost like artificial intelligence. It's going to learn from what you put in, and you're going to learn along with it. Mm-hmm. And that knowledge is what gives you the confidence next time you go into a client to be able to talk about money with no emotional ties, just like, this is what it's going to cost. Would you like to move forward?
That is like that one of the biggest lessons you can learn, I think, in this industry is just that neutrality of this is what it is. Would you like it? Like there's. And we take on all that emotional weight and fear. And like, I could try to maybe go a little bit lower on the price. I can maybe talk to my rep. Like, no, shut up. Just here it is. Would you like it? Here's what it costs. And then they can decide yes or no.
Right. Right. And this is how long it takes to deliver a stellar luxury level design plan to you and implement it. Yes. That's how long it takes. This is the steps that need to happen. And then, of course, if your client cannot absolutely afford it, then having other service models, what I call it, your ladder of services, that you can put them into if you decide for your firm that you want to have other service models. If you're only a full service design and the client says, I absolutely cannot do this at this time, okay, then we'll hold on to your file. If you change your mind in the future, please consider us. Like, not making it so like, oh my God, I lost the job. Because do you want the job, Lesley, when you're not making enough money? How many times have you undercharged?
Oh my God, Nancy. It's
what happens when you undercharge? You call me and you go, I am so freaking pissed off.
Yeah. You get resentful.
Yes.
Burnt out. Like it sucks all the joy out of everything you're doing. And like money does not buy happiness, but it solves a lot of problems. And if you're struggling to pay your bills in your business, if you feel like you just can't get ahead, if you feel burnt out, like you are just working nonstop, probably because you're not charging what you're worth, you're not standing behind your fees, and you're putting so much emotion in it. And it's like it's a spiral. You start doing this. When
Totally.
you have the key, you can calculate numbers. Like this is a tool. This is not, we're not just like, charge $10,000. There you like it doesn't work like that. It's going to give you a framework to start, which that for me was really important when we built this. I'm not someone
Yes.
who works well from a blank page. Like God bless builders and architects that can be like, I am creating something from nothing. I'm like, I need a floor plan and I need some walls. I do better with constraints. So for those designers, that's why we provided industry averages of time so that you can start somewhere and have a framework. Because
Yes.
most of us starting from nothing would grossly underestimate what it actually takes to make each room, each phase, each part of a design project happen. Because when you see that big number, it's scary.
It is.
18 years I've been doing this. And even now doing proposals, I'm like, there's no way it's going to take that long. It's going to yes, yes, yes. It is.
Yeah. Because
It
most
is.
of the time we're throwing in, well, I just had a couple extra meetings. They were quick. Or I took a couple extra texts or phone calls. No big deal. When you start adding up the no big deals, or it just took me a few minutes. And I love this sentence. Oh, it makes me crazy. And I get this from a couple of friends of mine too, who are designers who do not coach with me. They just have their own businesses and they do their own thing. And I love them. But, well, I made enough money
Huh.
with this job.
That
And I'm
sounds
like, okay, so if you had $1 million job, what's enough money? If you had a $200,000 job, what's enough money? Isn't it just makes sense for it to be the appropriate amount of money for the work that you're putting in and for the product that you're delivering? So there's no right or wrong, right amount of money. It's what is appropriate for the effort you put in, for your years of experience, for the quality of work you're providing, for the experience that you're providing for the client, right? You have to consider all of that when you're calculating your pricing so that you don't get resentful when the job goes south due to things that may not be within your control. You still know, you know what? I made the right amount of money for this job, and this is my job to deal with these things when they happen.
Yeah.
Imagine that feeling. Like, all right, if this didn't go wrong, I would have made a little bit more per hour. But even though it didn't go all right, I'm still okay with my pricing because I had the proper amount of cushion in the job with the just in case it happened.
Yeah. And then for next time. And you can use what you learn and keep adjusting. Like you were saying, the key really does become completely customized to your business over time, because then you start to learn what are your numbers, what do things look like for your firm, for your team, with your service level. And it becomes easy. I mean, easier and faster. And the time people are being saved with proposals,
Yes.
it's crazy. Like
I know.
we get feedback from designers saying like a proposal used to take 3 or 4 hours and now they can do it in half an hour.
Well,
And even then, I think it can be done a lot faster once you get more used to it.
Yeah, I'm going to say 3 or 4 hours and 3 or 4 days to get the guts to even send it.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Now it takes them an hour to do it, and they send it right away because they know and they have the confidence on how it was calculated. They understand the numbers finally. You can be a creative and love what you do, but if you don't understand your own numbers for your own business, you're not an entrepreneur yet that's running your business like a CEO.
Yeah.
You're running it like a worker bee and not looking at the numbers, hoping that it works out.
Yeah.
Right?
Hope sucks in this instance. It's not going to help you succeed in business.
No, it's not going to help you succeed in business if you put your head in the sand and don't really understand the numbers. So, all right. So let's just summarize, right? The mistakes that most designers make, and it's not just designers, I'm going to say it's service providers because, I have coached many people in many different industries, but it is more prevalent, I'd say, in the interior design industry because you guys are all very kind, giving, nice. I shouldn't say kind. You are all kind, but you're nice. Nice is worse than kind when it comes to running your business. Nice is I'm going to accommodate anything anyone ever wants. Kind is keeping your boundaries and letting them know what it takes for you to do the job well. So If you're lowering your prices due to fear of the big number, or you're underestimating your time to do the job, or you're not communicating, feel comfortable talking about numbers right from the beginning, early and constant with the client, so there's never a surprise, you should get the key, the designer's ultimate pricing tool, and stop the panic, stop the fear, stop the underestimating, and stop being underpaid for what you do for a living. Because why bother working at all if you're not going to make enough money to do something for your own life, for yourself or for your family or for your future?
Yeah, there's too much at stake. There's too much responsibility and time as a design business owner. Like, if you're not making money, you're probably better off going to get a job somewhere else. And then at least you can leave work at work and not have it be on your mind 24/7, which it is when you own your own design business.
Yes. I have to tell you, it's very frustrating from my perspective because I feel every day I can lead the horse to water, but I can't make them drink. I can tell you all that the key is not just a product that I created for the fun of it. It's a product that I created because it helps my clients be more time efficient and make the money they're supposed to. And now I've opened it up to everyone. So they don't have to do a full coaching program with us, but they can actually just get their pricing right. And hopefully all the other pieces in their business are going well and the pricing is just what they're struggling with. And if that's the case, get the key, because it's going to completely change the way you bill your clients and your confidence level.
Absolutely.
All right. All right. That's the end of our Thursday thoughts, everyone. Go have a great Thursday. Click the link if you want to check out what the key includes. It's all on the landing page, and I'm proud of my team for how they created this landing page. And we will talk to you next Thursday. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Leslie. Thank you.